Well, good morning. It is 5:35 a.m. and I'm down at North Narrabeen Rockpool once again. You might have seen the last video when I was down here and I got possession of the GFX50R. So I've come back down here to shoot with it. I spotted a composition down here that I really liked and I thought I'd come back and shoot it because I thought the tide and everything would be right, but I've miscalculated things and it's just too dangerous for me to shoot where I want to shoot. So I'm going to have to find something else. There's not a lot to shoot here that's protected from the surf coming in. So I'm going to have to jump in the car and go to my other favourite location. It's just around the corner, Turrametta Beach. I've been there several times before. I know the place really well. It's a good location and I'm pretty sure I can find a composition there. Well, I've got myself to my favourite spot. It was only a quick drive. It's really weirdly foggy and misty this morning. Given the high tide, I'm really struggling to find a composition, but I think I found something that I can shoot that's going to be interesting. There's a small puddle of water with a rock in the middle of it. It's really still because there's no wind. So I'm going to use this as my point of interest. Yeah, see if I can shoot something. So I'll get set up and I'll talk you through exactly what it is I'm doing. Well, it's mornings like this that really challenge me as a photographer and get me to think outside of the box. You know, the tide's up, it's very misty, it's not going to be an epic sunrise, the colour in the sky is going to be what it is right now and that's it. It's just going to get harsh when the sun comes up. We're about 5 minutes away from sunrise, but there's a thick band of cloud on the horizon that's going to really affect what happens. What I've found though is I found just down here you can see like some sort of, I don't know, sea snail or something has made a pattern in the sand. It's come out of this water and made a pattern. And then I've got the reflections with this rock here. There's not a lot of colour in the sky. I'm really grasping at straws this morning. I'm just going to keep trying a few different things until I get what it is that I'm after. And having that rock, getting down so low means that rock is actually sitting above the horizon with a nice reflection. So I'm just going to keep shooting and see, what I can make of this morning. So I've just moved composition again. Really just trying to use this little sea snail as a feature in my shot and just getting the reflections off this water. I'm doing 2 shots for every frame just in case, and I'm focusing on the foreground and I'm focusing on the rock so I can then merge them together if I need to, sort of like focus stacking manually. I'm just trying now in a portrait orientation. I really just zoomed in close on this little, you see where this bug is here, using it in my foreground to really drag your eye into the image. It's working really well. I just wish there was more colour in the sky. But one of the good things about a tripod that doesn't have the centre leg is it is really easy to get it down low. So I don't have to worry too much about, I could give it even lower if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I'm using live view. I always use live view. And if you want to sort of get a better preview of your image, on most of these cameras, if you pump up the exposure comp, you sort of brighten up your image enough to be able to see what's going on. And it enables you then to be able to recompose pretty easily. So I'm just going to do that now. And then what I do is just bring it back down to where I want it. And I think for me, -2 is working really well. Now I've got on manual focus with the 50R, but I can still touch focus and see I've got focus peaking on. So I can see what is and isn't in focus. So I just touch it. And once again, I'm just taking an exposure or a focus for foreground and for background because that is so close to the camera. Having a look at the histogram, I've got a bit of room, so I might just bump it up to -1 and see what happens. But one of the things I've noticed with this medium format camera is you can pull out the detail in the shadow with almost zero effective noise. If I did that on some of the other DSLRs, even the D850, if you bump up the shadows too much, you tend to get a fair bit of noise. So I'll talk you through what I've got going on here. You can see I've got the 50R set up there with I've got the flip screen out for no other reason except it was out when it was in the other mode. And I've got this little twirly whirly pattern in the sand and there's actually like a sea snail or something there. And then shooting forward, I've got all these nice reflections in the water. So that works really, really well. So you can see that there's like no colour on the sky and there's like a fog. Check it out. It's just really misty. which is quite moody, I guess. Really challenged this morning. The sun is starting to come up now, so I'm hoping that the colour, the little bit of colour we get from the sun will give me the, some dramatic colour in the sky. The composition right now is something like that. So this rock letting out, got that rock with that reflection there, that one there, and then as you can see the sun's starting to come up on the horizon, so we're getting that colour. So if I show you in the back here, we'll give you a better idea. Just wind that up, so it sort of gives you an idea of the composition that I'm currently shooting. So that sun is really just about to come up and make it really hard, so we're just going to have to do our best. That's all I can do. Really, really humid, muggy. The lenses keep fogging. How's that one going? That one seems to have settled down now, but just really, really, really foggy and muggy sort of conditions. Not ideal at all, and water is starting to run into this pool from up here. See that little, like a river coming in, which is fine, but what it does is it creates ripples here in the water, so I lose my reflections or the most of them, But as that water comes in, maybe I'll get some water moving around this rock. I don't know whether I'll get a big enough wave or not, but certainly the conditions weren't ideal this morning. It's 6:23, it's about 20 minutes after sunrise. I thought, or maybe not, I think sunrise was about 10 minutes after sunrise. And it's now starting to just breach above the clouds. So I'm going to keep shooting, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to -3, because I really want to see how this GFX goes at pulling out the shadows in the foreground and handling this dynamic range. One of the benefits of this haziness is it actually is creating a bit of colour on the horizon. It actually looks pretty good. I've just got to remember every now and then to check my composition by winding up the exposure value and making sure I've got something that I'm happy with. I've got the self timer on for 2 seconds because I don't have a remote shutter release for this. And if I look at that back, there's a slight bit of highlights right in the middle of the sun. So I've worked out how to get it down to -5 on the exposure comp. You put the exposure comp dial onto C, you put the lens ring on the aperture ring onto C, and the dial goes all the way down to -5. So I have got -5 dialed in. I'm shooting directly into the sun. So it'll be interesting to see if I can pull the detail out of these shots. Anyway, you're starting to fog up again. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to wrap this one up here. Really enjoying these GFX series cameras. This is the 50R. If you've got any questions, leave it below in the comments. More than happy to answer them. And yeah, until next time, get out there and take some photos. See ya.
Always on my mind and way out of my league. You were born to be on display, and I'm hard to read. I thought of you, hoping that the ripples would make you notice me. And now you're here, sunlight on the ripples,